Hey, everybody, and welcome to eComm Weekly. Hey, Shane, thanks for joining. Hi, Rachel.
Hey, great to be here.
Okay, today we're going to be talking about something really cool, and I'm not kidding. We've seen this with Amazon sales that they can not only increase your sales and your profitability by doing a few simple things, but double your sales or even higher. And we're going to get into that. And all we're doing is a few tweaks to your listings, and this can carry over to any e-commerce platform if it's Shopify or WooCommerce. So we'll be talking about this, but this is we're primarily selling on Amazon, but these tips are good right across. Shane, I just wanted to introduce you. So Shane Oglow is my partner, but also the president of PR Reach, which is a communication company for e-commerce businesses. So welcome, Shane.
Thank you very much, Norm.
Okay, so what we found out, and I don't know if you ever have taken a look, if you use an app like Helium 10 or their X-ray app for Chrome extension. But anyways, in Amazon or with Amazon sales, these are some tools that we use. It's a very good tool and it gives you an idea of what the market looks like. So what you'll notice day in and day out, that there's always somebody that is the top that's just crushing it, followed by one or two other people, and then a lot of others usually eat dust. Now, maybe there's three or four people that are in the middle and everybody else eats dust, but that's what the model looks like. And when I think it was 2013 or 14, I saw this, and it was harder back in the day to do this, but I saw that there was a pattern and started to research this pattern. And it just, it was blatantly obvious that the quality listings, who'da thunk, made sales. The the listings that didn't look like they were written for keywords and they were more engaging made sales, and the price point. And believe it or not, the lowest price doesn't always get the more sales. I've seen, and we're going to get into this today, three different tiers that you can, and I challenge anybody to take a look at this on Amazon to see if it's any different. But the three tiers of perceived value. So, just one fact, I found this out recently. I had no idea that 50% of Amazon customers are middle to upper class or upper income buyers. So that was a bit of a shock because I thought it would have been more of the Walmart demographic, and which is looking for a more of a discounted price. And it's just not the case on Amazon. Have you seen this, Shane?
No, I don't think I've seen that. I've always considered myself upper class, Norm.
You know what I meant. Upper. So, anyways, let's start with this. What are we talking about when we talk about optimizing a listing? And so there's a few different areas that we're looking at. So the first thing, and the very first thing, and the most important thing is the graphic, that primary graphic that you choose. And probably the most important thing. So let's say that I'm typing in the word bully stick or something like that, dog chew, rawhide, and I get the search listings that all come up. So you get your search, your keyword search results. And I can show you this right now. If you go in and you type in chef knife, just for an example, Damascus chef knife, you're going to notice that most of the chef knives are going from on an angle going from the bottom left to the top. If they have a box that is either just horizontal and everything, there's nothing different about it. And so what we try to do is create a pattern interruption. So that could be by filling the frame. That could be by taking that knife and putting it from top, doing the complete opposite. Or it could even be introducing a splash of color. Now, you're not allowed to put a splash of anything in the background. It's got to be white. But the packaging, if you take a look at the packages that the higher end knives come in, most of them are black. They're all black. Just add a little bit of yellow, and all of a sudden, boom, it's got your eye. Even further, I don't know if you've seen this, Shane, but with supplements, say everybody's selling a supplement, a 16-ounce supplement with whatever, 90 capsules, and it's the same bottle basically, and they're all filling the frame the same size so that it's full. Sometimes, like I always like to fill the frame, so it's very less white space, but sometimes I'll make it a little bit smaller in this case, again, for the pattern interruption. Now, have you done anything like that to get people's attention?
Yeah, 100%. And if you think about it too, you think about what camouflage is, right? It's you don't see any interruption in pattern. And that's what people are doing. They're camouflaging their listing. If they don't, if they're trying to be just like everyone else, you need something to draw your eye. So you're right. Whether it's, and it depends on the type of product. A knife is a good example because it kind of points, it's linear. But if you're selling a ball, everybody else is selling a ball, there's not much you can do. Your ball is going to be round. So you've got to do something different to draw that attention, to make it stand out, having the packaging in the background with it or whatever would be appropriate. But yep, you've got to do something to draw that attention and make yours stand out 100%.
Yeah, and then you're taking a look at what we call the slide deck. And anybody on here that is selling on Amazon knows, for the most part, that you can put different types of images there. What do people want to know? They want to know the benefit, they want to know the features. So, usually, what I'll do is I'll take that primary image, which is the container or the product itself, and I follow it up underneath it with the benefit. So people see right off the bat what it's all about. Now, this you can mix up this formula any way you want. This is not a cut and dry formula, but then I'll show the product with the package, and then it could either be the features or a lifestyle image. You can also use the ingredients as something, but make sure this is cut and dry. There's so many new Amazon sellers. Even there's even some advanced sellers that do this, but they write a book. You don't write a book in your graphics. The book, the graphic, that's in your bullet points. And so this is a tip I learned from Diane Bolster, the hypnotic copywriter. She told me, if you're putting in benefits or features, make sure that they emulate the beginning of your bullets. And let's say that it's an odorless bully stick. You can have that at the beginning of your bullet. So it people can see that on that one graphic, there's 2 or 3 points. They look over, and if they want more information, they can grab it there. It's pretty cool. Plus, aesthetically, it looks that much more, just better. One other tip: people love lifestyle photo. Do not just, I'm just telling you this out of experience. And Shane, I bet you we can share a bunch of examples on this. Don't go just to a free stock photo place. There's places like Pixabay and all that. And then all of a sudden, plop a bar of soap in somebody's hand that's in a bath that's 5 times bigger than the actual person's hand. I mean, people are so sophisticated right now. They know it's fake. If you're putting it on the bottom and you're showing your product and somebody's laying back in a bathtub having a bath, that's one thing. But if you're trying to skip out of having a hand model, don't do it. There's all sorts of ways to get lifestyle photos. And Shane, I know that a bunch of different ways. Why don't we talk about that? How are you getting lifestyle photos right now?
I think the best way to get lifestyle photos is probably from micro influencers. It's inexpensive. Sometimes it's free. They'll do it in exchange for a product. Sometimes you pay a little bit. Sometimes they might get different rewards programs. We won't get into that, but I think that's the best place to go. And I think one mistake people make when they're dealing when there's a lot of different aspects to micro influencers, but is just blanketing it out there and I'm going to give away 50 products to 50 micro influencers and just come what may and let's see what comes back. No, I think you really need to look at those micro influencers and the work they've done and the pictures they post, and if they're really passionate about it. If it's a micro influencer who will take a picture of anything, you'll tend to get really garbage photos back, which are just they pull up their iPhone, they click it and send it off to you, and their job is done. You're better off to stay in your niche. If someone's into health and beauty or sports or whatever they're doing, they typically have a passion for it and they're really interested, or maybe they've got family or kids and they like to do these things with their family. It's a real big difference. And it's not going to be a difference usually in cost. It's just a little bit of your time making sure you're working with the right person that isn't just doing anything for everyone just for free stuff or to make $5 or whatever. That's a fantastic way.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. And another way, like just to get images that are very inexpensive or free, when you have a product and you have a package, put an insert in. This is nothing new. That you would drive people over to your, just one sec, Shane. I'm going to silence your mic, just feeding back to me. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is you can put an insert in, and it's very simple. All you do is have something like and or tag us with our product. That's a free way, and see what happens if people are going to do that. People like to show using your product. If it, like going back to that chef's knife, show us using your the chef knife, or make your favorite recipe. But anyways, get them to tag. Some people just say, "Hey, tag us for a free $10 gift certificate." You can do that too. You pay a little bit for that. It could be a $5 gift certificate. Many people like to do this. And plus, you can make it really simple for people. You can just add a QR code onto your insert, and you put the link there. And that could get a lot of people over to your website. Now, another area that I want to talk about before we go any further into Amazon is making sure that everything is consistent. So your listing is consistent, but you're a micro brand. Micro brands, and I don't care if you're selling $100,000 a month, you're a micro brand. Most people don't know who you are. So what do you do? What do you guys do when you go to a website and or to Amazon, and let's say you're buying some cosmetics? Okay, you want to check out to make sure that it's real. Well, you go to Google and you check out the person's social media, or you check out the any articles that are about them, or their website. It's got to be consistent. They don't have to be expensive, but they have to be consistent with the colors of the brand. Just make everything look like the listing. So I think that's really important. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Shane.
Nope, I think that's super super important, and you can usually tell the experienced sellers, even if it's a new listing, maybe there's not many reviews, from the inexperienced, just because of that slick branding. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive; it's just consistent. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but it is very consistent. And just one other thing I'll mention too, when it comes to images, I think that I love leading with benefits first, because you got to think consumers and shoppers, they don't care about you. They just care about themselves. They just care about themselves. So you want to hit them with the benefits first, how it's going to change their life or make them not smell, or whatever you're doing. The other thing with the images is that I like to have every major point that I need to have in my bullet points explained easily and simply, and not too much, in those images, because I don't know what the statistics are these days, but first of all, how many people can read very well who are online? It's shockingly low, and they read at a very low level. But a lot of people, even if it doesn't matter whether they can read or not, they don't even bother. They just look at the images. So you want to tell the entire story, all the major points that you want in your title and your bullet points. That story should be told in your images. So they don't need to look at the bullet points if they don't want. If they're more interested, yes, they can look at the product description or A plus page or whatever. That's fine. But those images need to have a nice blend: features, benefits, lifestyle, a really nice blend, just to give them the whole experience. They can just go, I'm going to buy it just based on that.
Very good. Now, when you're doing this, let's take a look at that Amazon listing again. So we've talked about getting those lifestyle photos, the slide deck. I'm going to go something I was doing just before I got on the call today, and it's discussing a video. Now, I just got some quotes back from videographers, and some people think it's got to be a Hollywood movie, depending on some of the quotes I got today. But it doesn't have to be. You can do this yourself, or you can go and get a videographer to do it. A very short clip. You can put product on a round table. I, depending on your niche, I would always look at trying to do probably a professional videographer. But if you are on a low budget, that seventh spot on Amazon, on your Amazon listing, allows you to show your product. And I just saw something, like I was just looking at some bottles that I was going to buy, and they were on a round table, and they were just showing me the lids and everything. It was about a 30-second video. It was probably 15 seconds too long. And that's what I was like when I'm looking at my videos. I'm just doing one for some bangle bracelets. So I have somebody that's going to be a hand model. I have it spinning around on the box. It's going to be anywhere from a 10 to 15 second video. and it gives somebody an idea of what it's all about. Plus, there's going to be a logo at the end. And this is going to be on all of the platforms that we sell on. Simple, in and out. It doesn't have to be Hollywood. It costs $199. Now, there are other ones that we have. We usually go to it's Video Telepathy in San Diego, and they do product videos for around $600 or $700. And if you need more, if you need that minute long and it's a higher production value, definitely that's something you want to use. Now, there are areas on Amazon too that you've got. Now you go to move over to your title, your bullets. You want to make sure that you've got your frequently asked or frequently bought together all together. You've got your A plus in place, and going back to that consistency, making sure that your storefront is consistent with your website. So if you have an Amazon store, there's so much you can do with it, and it's so easy. It's just a drag and drop, and you can make it. You could drive traffic over to the web store, and it looks awesome. So I just wanted to touch on keeping that consistent as well before I go back to the title. Now, there are all sorts of different people talking about how you can optimize your title, ranging from just one phrase with a benefit to maxing out 250 characters if your niche allows you to do that. And you can play around with this. I'm right in the middle. I take a phrase or two. I use my main phrase up front. Usually it's a longer tail keyword because I want to rank. And if, let's say, I want to use bully sticks for an example, it'd be very hard to rank for on a launch. So what I would do is I would have natural grass-fed bully sticks or something along those lines, where that, or even the word pizzle. So that means the same thing as a bully stick. So I would do my research. If I can find a niche or a keyword or a longer tail keyword, that would help me do the ranking plus the benefit plus a keyword. And I find that that works fine. But again, there are people, like just on my podcast, Stephen Pope was on this week, and he was talking about filling it with 250 characters. So that's up to you to try and play around with. I know that this method works for me. And then for the bullet points, Shane, oh my gosh, what are the do's and don'ts with bullet points?
Gosh, I don't even know if I can remember them all anymore. I think what you need to do, and this does change, this has changed so much over the years as we've been doing this, is you need to look at what the top people are doing in your category and emulate them as much as you can in style. Now, some things will work for some categories that won't work as well for others. That's fine, but you test it. You don't want exclamation points. You don't want to be putting in those prohibited words, free or warranty, or there's a whole list. Actually, Norm, I think we used to have a list we used to give people, if I'm not
Hundreds of
mistaken.
keywords,
Yeah, yeah,
100% free, satisfaction,
yeah,
and all the antibacterial cleanse words. There's a ton of them. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, there, do your research, go on Google. There should be a bunch of restricted keywords there. If you don't have them or if you can't find them, DM me and I will send you that list. It's actually quite shocking what you should or should not be using within your listing. And that's on your A plus pages or in your bullets. Lowercase. So that's something that Amazon's frowning on right now. So a lot of people were taught, I was taught to use uppercase for your first portion of your bullets. And usually that would be a benefit, and I still do that. I do benefits, but I make it all lowercase, and then the first part of the sentence, and then maybe there's a comma, or I start with just getting people's attention, just enough for them to engage with the bullet. And usually it's about the products themselves, how they benefit. And then at the end, I just talk about more about the company culture. It just gives people that feel good about you and your brand. Then the other thing I want to talk about, and I can get into A plus, but I think this is very important. This is gold. If you take a look at Amazon listings, you're going to see that there's three tiers of pricing. And I'm going to give you exactly a case study, or I did my research on this for a presentation I did recently. and it was about Dead Sea mud. Okay, we're talking about Dead Sea mud. And you're going to the Dead Sea to get the mud. It's one place, nothing different. Well, on Amazon, you can go in and check Dead Sea mud, okay? And the lower tier ranges from 6.95, I think it was, up to 14.95. That was the low tier. Those are the people who want to move volume. They have ugly, really ugly packaging, and they deserve to be at $14. Then you look, like, there's prices in between, but the other group goes in between that $20, $29, I think, 24 something, up to around the $49. So just under 50 bucks. And this is where you're getting some better packaging. You'll see the perception of the products becoming that much higher. And these are all, for the most part, either 8-ounce or 16-ounce jars. And then you go to the top level. And the top level Dead Sea mud, it ranges from $79 to $95. And the $95 package is 3.5 ounces. So that that product, and it's a brand, and I got to be fair, it is a well-known Dead Sea brand, but the whole group that's in that top tier, they all deserve to be in that top tier because they spent the money on high quality images. The images are a storyboard. They've got a good video. It doesn't have to be an excellent video. Their listing is all done beautifully. And they've got a nice A plus page, which is, just in case you don't know what an A plus page used to be called, enhanced brand content. It just allows you to have some photographs and some extra text in there. They've got a few reviews on it. If you're just launching, it's very hard to get reviews, but you can do something like the Vine program. But anyways, take a look, and you'll do that with the next one, and do that with the next. I'm telling you, you'll see this with every product. And then you have to figure out what you want to come out with. And now, where this doesn't work is that, let's say that you have a really great quality looking listing and your products, that's not going to work. Or if you've got some really terrible photos in that slide deck, the copy's really bad, but your product's incredible and it's got a high perceived value, it's the same thing. Everything's got to match up. Quality listing, quality product equals quality price. And the last thing I have to say, and then we could take some questions if there's anybody wanting to come up, and that is authority equals trust equals sales. And if you don't have those three, you're not going to get that final sale. So authority, that's what I was talking about with your brand, making sure your listing is good, your social matches, your website matches, even if it's just a one-page website, and maybe some content out there. Like when you write a blog article, make sure it's a good blog article, not something that you paid a penny a word. You just get what you pay for with that. And then you don't have to put out a ton, but just make it where it's quality. Authority equals trust equals sales. Now, I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Shane.
I think you covered it pretty well. And I think the one thing to keep in mind is, okay, you need all these components, you need them all pulling in the same direction. Great. If you're new, when I started, nobody knew anything about anything. We're just trying to figure things out as we went. But now you don't have to be the best copywriter in the world. You can hire someone to take care of that for you. You don't. I remember I took images on my kitchen floor. There wasn't a lot of people doing a lot of these things. Now you don't want to break the bank and spend money on every little thing. You do what you can. But if there's things that you just can't get right or you're not confident on, you can hire someone that's a pro, and eventually you'll start to pull those things together. And back in the day too, when you think of things like titles, we just keyword stuffed everything, and that worked. And then the emphasis went on to the back end, how you were able to manipulate the back end, or some loopholes that went away. All those loopholes we knew would go away, and the only way to really succeed now is to have everything tight and branded, because people are more and more sophisticated. Bigger and bigger players are coming in, so if you're a small guy, you can still do it, but you just have to make sure it's tight. And it's just attention to detail. There's so much training out there too. There's so many, there's a clubhouse, there's just so much available. There's no reason why anyone can't do it, whether you do it all yourself or you outsource part of it. It's all there for the taking.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there are some really great courses. And like I said earlier, if you're not, or if you're looking to start selling on Amazon, I can highly recommend checking out Helium 10. Check out their tools, check out their suite. They also have a course built into it once you pay for a subscription. The subscription is not a lot of information. Plus, it acts as a really great resource for doing your competitive analysis, product research. It's an all in one suite. So I get nothing from Helium 10. I use it myself, and I think it's a great product. So I think that's it for today, Shane, unless you have anything further.
No, I'm great. Hey, thanks for having me on. It was nice to chat.
Yeah, I never get to chat with you. You're too busy for me now. But
Okay, take care.
all right. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. We have this room booked every Thursday at 2 o'clock. We did a special 1 o'clock today, and we have new guests. What we're trying to do in this room is to make online sellers better online sellers. Also, if you want to learn more, I have a podcast called Lunch with Norm every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we go into Amazon and other types of e-commerce topics. I want to thank Startup Club for allowing me to have a room. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us.